Hello, welcome to a video lecture that I prepared for you on our first assignment, the employment packet. If you go into our class D2L site and go into the course content, you'll see a section for the employment packet. And once you get in there, you'll see the assignment sheet, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. I've also provided some sample documents here. One of the components of the project is what I'm calling an organizational profile. And so I've given you a little bit of an example about that. I'll talk about that in another video lecture. I've also given you a letter of application from when I was on the job market and came to Westchester. I've kind of genericized it. Also, it's a lot longer than maybe the letter that you would write as an application letter. There are some reasons for that, and I'll explain that. I'll also talk about that in another video lecture. And so it's fairly lengthy. It's something you can model conceptually, but I don't think yours is going to be as long as mine. And then I've got a copy of my resume, what we call in academia a CV, a curriculum vitae, your curricular life. And again, this document is much longer than yours is going to be, but I wanted to familiarize you with it a little bit and talk about some things that are going on in there. And then I've got this document with some job application letter stipulations about what you should be doing in the introductory paragraph, and then the education paragraph, and then the previous employment paragraph, and then the concluding paragraph. So I will explain those in another video lecture as well. So basically I'm going to talk about the assignment sheet and the assignment in general right now, and then I will talk in another video lecture about these other documents here. So let me talk about the assignment sheet. Okay, so when you get into open up the assignment sheet in D2L, and I've popped it out into another window here, and mostly you can read this over for yourself. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but we're going to start with a job ad or job description. Try to find one of those that you can use to apply for. We're also going to you're going to put together this organizational profile, a cover letter, letter of application, the resume, and the LinkedIn profile. So let me just say that with these various documents, some of them you're producing for me, and well, you're producing all of them for me, but some of them you would submit with your job application materials, and some of them you wouldn't. So the cover letter, letter of application, would go with your job application materials as well as the resume. So and you might also provide a link to your LinkedIn profile. But a couple of these items at the beginning, the job ad or job description, I'm going to talk about how to find that. And but you're just producing that for me. You would need it for yourself anyway to apply for a job, but wouldn't be something that you would submit with your materials. And then the organizational profile, again, is something that you're doing for me, but it's also good practice to do it for yourself when you're on the job application, when you're on the job market. So just want to be clear about that. So starting with the job ad or job description, I'm going to ask you to spend some time trying to find a job ad for a position that you can apply for now, or upon graduation, or within 2 to 3 years of graduation. So something that's pretty close to entry level, depending on your major. And and then we're going to talk about responding to that job ad. Job ad, probably one of the best places to look is Philly.com, and then basically that's the site for the Philadelphia Inquirer. And back in the old days, practice was to go find the Sunday paper because it had the biggest classifieds section in it, and to go through that and try to find a job that way. And if you wanted to relocate to another area, you oftentimes had to find a newsstand or bookstore or something that carried papers from out of town so that you could apply for jobs elsewhere. But now it's a much easier process. If you go to Philly.com, they do have a link to the classifieds, and then from there you just type in your job title or something and see what comes up. And you can apply. You can search in Philadelphia, or you can search more regionally. You can search the other side of the country if you want, if you're interested in relocating. So I think the job search process has become a lot easier in that regard. But a couple of things that have happened in terms of the job search electronically is that it has become what I would say is more opaque, that you can't see through it to the other side. That frequently there's an apply now button, and you have to give them some personal information, attach your resume and your letter of application, and you don't even know who it's going to. You just click submit and it goes off into the ether, and eventually, hopefully someone will get back to you. So we are going to talk about trying to address your letter of application to a specific person, even if you don't know who that person is. So one thing I try to get through to all of my students is that, for instance, the greeting "to whom it may concern" really is one of the worst greetings you can put into a letter, because everyone hesitates momentarily and thinks, am I really concerned? So we're going to talk about trying to find out by name who to send this to, and if we don't know by name, we can do it by job title, like Dear Personnel Director, Dear Human Resources Director, something like that. Or if we think it's more inclined to be a search committee, then again, we're sending it to people who we assume are concerned, Dear Search Committee, rather than the really impersonal "to whom it may concern." So I listed some other resources down here for finding jobs. I also mentioned a job description up here. So occasionally a student can't find a job ad for a job that they want to apply for, and then I just ask them, what is your major? What do you want to do with your degree? And I can show you on the Occupational Outlook Handbook that's at the Bureau of Labor Statistics government website, that you can type in a particular job title and it'll show you a description for that job, and it also has like the 10-year forecast for that field, whether it's growing or declining or whatever, and the salary concerns. So we'll take a look at that here in a second. Going on down, I do have a bit more discussion of the organizational profile, and I'll be talking some more about that, and the cover letter, and then the resume. And so we're going to proceed in a couple of ways here. One is I'm going to talk about the job ad or job description, finding that, but then also asking you to work on putting together your resume, because one of the things you want to do in the job search is kind of do a self-inventory. And I think one of the best ways to do a self-inventory is to see yourself on paper. So put together a resume. And I'm going to encourage you to put together whatever you have in terms of a resume at this point, and we'll talk about how to make it better. So anyway, there's the assignment sheet for now. And let me go into a couple of things here. The job ad or job description is the main thing I think we want to look at. So hang on just a second. Okay, so here is the Philadelphia Inquirer website, philly.com, or actually it looks like it's now inquirer.com. So, okay, and as we look up here at the top, we're kind of getting a front page of the paper here, and then different sections, and then we see jobs down here at the end. And so if you go there, type in a job title, let's just say accountant, in the Philadelphia area and search, and you see that it's powered by monster.com. You can also post your resume, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that, engaging in the job search. Okay, and so when I searched for accountant in the Philadelphia area, 452 jobs found. So looks like a pretty good market for accounting majors right now. And as you go down through there, we can see depends on what we're looking for. Staff accountant, Medworth Recruiting. So this is a placement firm. It's not an actual company who's looking. So they're kind of screening applicants. And let me see if I can find something else. Senior accountant, which is probably requires more experience. Let me try an accountant 2. I don't know if that's the same as a senior accountant or what. ASTM International is a globally recognized leader in the development and delivery of international voluntary consensus standards. Not sure what that means, but it looks like they're looking for an accountant for themselves. And so as we look through this, we get details on this. There's some highlights as well. They're talking about themselves, which is good. We know a little bit about them, and the position purpose, and then the role, and then the responsibilities. We're going to want to pay attention to a lot of this. In the letter of application, you want to try to address as many of these as possible, and there are a ton of them, so I don't think you necessarily can, but the ones that you think are most important, see if you can respond to those. And then under minimum requirements, so we have responsibilities on the job that we want to try to talk about, and then we have these requirements and preferred qualifications and competencies, which we also want to talk about. So a lot of this involves your education and other things that they're looking for, and then these preferred things. So it says it's not all-inclusive list, etc. So has a decent, I think, salary on it, good salary. So there's one job if you're an accountant. And let me go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics and see what's going on there. Okay, when you get to the Bureau of Labor Statistics website, it's a .gov site. A lot of things going on here, but what we really want to do is get to their publications. So they're right up here, and the Occupational Outlook Handbook. And so search the handbook. Okay, so when I click through on all the links, I got to this page, the Occupational Outlook Handbook, Accountants and Auditors, and we see some things, the summary going on here. They're talking about 2018 median pay, typical entry-level education, number of jobs, job outlook, 6% as fast as average, employment change in the next 10 years, and all these things we see here. This says summary and has a bunch of stuff, and then we also see these tabs across the top. The tabs are also on this, basically link further down onto the same page. So all the things that we see at the top, we can scroll down, and I guess you have to move over a little bit. Accountants and what they do. Looks like they've changed this a little bit. So probably easiest to go across the work environment, how to become one, etc. And so if you can't find a job ad for what the job that you're looking for, you can find a job description here at the Occupational Outlook Handbook at the Bureau of Labor Statistics government website, bls.gov, and that's how you can start looking for jobs. So let me return to the assignment sheet for a second. Okay, so back to the assignment sheet. I want to encourage you to start looking for a job ad for a job that you can apply for now or upon graduation or soon thereafter, and or a job description. Let's work on that. Also work on pulling together your resume, and I don't care what shape it's in at this point. As I sometimes tell students, I don't care if it's written in crayon on notebook paper. Um, we need a draft so we can start talking about it and making it better. So there's the assignment for now. I want to let you think about it and process it. Start looking for a job ad or job description. Start working on pulling together your resume in terms of where it is at this point in your pre-professional career. And look for another video lecture from me soon talking about additional aspects of this assignment. All right, thanks for your attention, and I'll be talking to you again soon.